Dough! Dough! Woohoo! Dough! Dough! Bacon! Dough! 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 Woohoo! Hello, Spring here. As you can probably tell, today's faffery is the broken choke cable of righteous justice. So yeah, that snapped. So tank off. Of course, it's a completely full tank of petrol that I filled up yesterday after my ride. So anytime you've got to take your tank off your bike, make sure it's completely full, because then it's a complete bitch to get off. Yeah, choke cable snapped, so that's off. Managed to get the other end off, and I've had to completely lube all of this slider mechanism, because as is traditional, they're always grotty and snotty and seized. Well, it wasn't seized, it was okay, but lots of lube on there to prevent it snagging up in the future. Anyway, so while I'm on that, I figured I've got a lot more room now to get rid of the heated grips and all the associated crap that goes with it, and just got myself a set of grips for £8 with my trade card. So ignore them bits, just the grips. So we're going, while it's all free, all this tosh is coming off. These are going on. I've ordered a choke cable. That's about £10. Not a genuine Yamaha one, but I've ordered a aftermarket one anyway, and I'll just make sure it's routed and fitted correctly so that it doesn't seize up. Hopefully it'll be a bit better than this poor thing. You can see where it had been feeling very stiff anyway, and I was gonna eventually, when I took the tank off to sort out these carb rubbers, I was going to go through it all, but it's forced my hand. So I'm going to eat that, drink that, and I'll be back. Right, first thing, I'll take the bar end weights off. Quite an interesting design. That's a 8mm hexagon key, Allen socket, whatever you want to call it. Big old thread on that. Thread's straight to the end of the bar. It's quite nice. I guess the grip sort of fits over this part as well. Yeah, haven't seen them, but then again, this is my first Yamaha out of 40 bikes, unless you count the first moped I ever owned, which was a Yamaha 50cc step-through townmate in 1984. That was a brilliant little ped, and I had that until I took my test, whenever that was, a year or a bit later. Anyway, so there, rip them off. I'll clean these up and lube them. Yeah, heavy old chunks then, good. Right, my next thought is, although the glue isn't completely set on these, I'm going to turn the grips on to heat them up, to hopefully warm the glue up for me to get them off. So I'm going to give that a few minutes to heat up and see if I can get these grips off. Right, this side literally just pulled off with a little wiggle, it was fine. So I've started unclipping what I did the other day, all my cable ties and shrink wrap, So I need to whip that off and try and get it all free. This side, I've just literally opened up this the housing for the throttle cables, the two cables. I wasn't sure whether this grip had anything interfering with what's inside here, but it doesn't. It seems to be completely separate. But there's a washer there. There's the edge of the housing, and there's a plastic washer, and then the grip. So turning the ignition on and turning the heater on didn't work. I seem to remember the other day when I was doing it, the engine had to be running for the heater grips to work. I suppose that's a security feature so that it's not draining the battery, heating the grips if the engine's not running. So I suppose that's a good thing. So I'm gonna have a little bit more. I'd like to take these off without damaging them, because I can flog them or give them to someone or whatever. I'd like to have it as a complete unit with no damage that somebody can fit on their bike. So I just needed to look in there to see what was going on before I start pulling on things. But this one seems to be very firm. Well, I'll just uncouple the loom for the right hand grip. Well, the power supply, which was hooked up to the brake light switch. We've now got the brake light switch back to standard, which is nice. The heater cable is where I've heat shrunk everything. The connector's there, so I think I'm going to have to unheat shrink this, pull out the connectors, because it's all fed through behind the light. This I'm getting a bit of movement on, but I wanted to get a bit of slack on the cable to get it moving, so I shall continue getting this off. Oh well, best laid plans. Managed to get the heated grip off of this throttle slider. Got right to the end, because rather than uncoupling it there to give me lots of slack, I decided I'd have enough room to get it off with this snap. Well, I didn't. I managed to snap one of the connectors, one of the cables off from there. Oh, it won't focus. That's supposed to be 2 wires. Come on, focus. Anyway, there should be 2 wires connected there, and I've snapped one. So, and that's right inside the element. I might be able to fix that up somehow afterwards, but I think I've just basically trashed it. Never mind. Didn't like them anyway. Right, that's off. It's all gone. Unfortunately, they didn't survive, so never mind. That will go in the big pile of shite that I've taken off the bike. Yeah, they're dead. But when I was getting the new grips, I did notice that these, or the upgraded version of these, is actually 40 quid. So they're not exactly the biggest thing in the world, are they? So, and this is the old version. So the new fancy spangled version is £40 Oxford heated grips. So there you go. If you want some, nip down to Halford's, £39.99. On the plus side, this is much tidier. All this wiring, it's all back to stock, and just one loom that side, and your cables and hoses. So it's actually way tidier and prettier. So I'm gonna just clean these with a bit of thinners or brake cleaner, just to get any grease off, and I'm gonna put the new grips on with the grip glue provided, which it's fine, it does the job. I've got a few little tubes of that. It lubricates it on, it dries sort of overnight, so that should be fine. We'll have a little look in a minute when they're back on. Just one thing to mention I'm very pleased about is inside these switch gears there's a little plastic dimple that sticks out. It locates in a little hole in the stock handlebars, stop these moving around. It's still all intact, which means that these bars haven't been off and changed for anything else in its life, which is good. The other good thing is, on the throttle, this bit, the casing, there's a little nipple, if you like, in the casting, and a hole in the bars again, and it's located, which means you can't, you can only put these in the correct place for stock, which is great. So that's one thing I'm quite pleased about. That hasn't been mullered. Right, they went on very easily. I used the glue that came with them. So, which won't focus, of course. Anyway, it's grip glue. It's basically PVA. Non-focus glue, that's what it is. Yeah, so anyway, they went on really easily with that. So fortunately, because I'm waiting for the choke cable, I'm not going to be using it. So hopefully that grip glue will dry in the next day or two, and ready to put the choke cable on, tank back on, and back in business. At the end of the day, I'm happier that it's a bit cleaner and tidier, and you know, if I'm driving in the cold, riding in the cold, I normally wear 2 pairs of gloves anyway, or get some bar muffs, whatever. Now, just to mention these are for sticking on your levers to make them more comfortable. I tried these before on my Triumph, and they're just a gimmick. Didn't take long for me to take them off. What they did though was acted like a camel. They just stored water. If it rained, it got soaking, and they were horrible. So anyway, they'll get used for some sort of cable protection or some sort of whatever in the future. And then these are just the bar end things. If you don't have bar ends, little plugs for them. So they'll be handy in the future. No doubt some trials bike or whatever, they'll be popped in there. So that's that. Another sticker for the toolbox. That one's coming off. You've got to have your stickers. Also, I wanted to mention this here. This is a yamaha 3/8 drive ratchet with one of these, like, gator grip, I think they call it, gator socket. It will basically bite anything and undo it, regardless of what size it is. So there you go, one's undone. So should you find yourself with a peculiar size nut or bolt or something that's been rounded off, that will do it. I've actually used this a couple of times since I acquired this tool. Can't get it off with one hand. Anyway, but the ratchet itself, the 3/8 ratchet, since I've had it, I've been using it all the time, as opposed to my old Stanley, whatever it is, my 3/8 drive. Now this, I won in a prize draw from Del Boy's Garage, which is Moonfleet 41. Now, chances are, if you're watching this, you're one of my mates from the Idiot Collective or somebody who subscribes to Del Boy's channel anyway. But on the off chance, if you've just seen XJR prattling about or something and you came for a look, I highly recommend Moonfleet 41, Del Boy's Garage. Fantastic advice. And they do prize draws and you can win really nice tools. This is a fantastic, sexy, soft grip, beautiful bit of kit. So thank you very much, Del and Penny, for that. I'm sure you'll be watching. Cheers. And finally, this is what I've taken off the bike so far. Screen. This breather combobulation, load of old bollocks. And obviously the heated grips. The horn, actually the horn doesn't count because they'd taken off one of the horns to mount this breather, so I couldn't find a matching horn locally, so I just put a pair of new ones on, so that doesn't really count. And also this bit here, which is part of that breather kit, still needs to come off because I've got an ordered just a standard oil filler cap for it. Unfortunately, like a complete wally, I did order a little black billet one. Unfortunately, I ordered it for the wrong bike. It was for a FJ or whatever. I didn't look at the description properly when I clicked buy, so I've got a spare nice little black billet oil filler cap that doesn't fit this bike, but it'll fit something else in the future, no doubt. So that's it. So next time, hopefully, we'll be putting on a nice standard oil filler cap and sticking on a new choke cable, route that through. I'll try to video me doing that. It's so hard to video with one hand. I don't know if I might have to devise some way of just mounting my phone here so you can see what I'm doing. But for now, it's just another Chelsea Monday. No, it's not, it's a Scunthorpe Monday. Sorry, been listening to Marillion. Thanks a lot. Ride safe, take it easy. I've been Springy. Have a nice bank holiday Monday. Cheers.